Hi y'all, welcome back if you're returning. I sure enjoy your comments. It means so much to me as I get to know you as you get to know me. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Sending you out all kinds of warm, loving energy. Hopefully you'll want to subscribe to the channel and become part of our community where we have videos on all kinds of holistic healing or natural healing type topics. Today we're going to be opening Apothecary at Home for June. And Apothecary at Home is a monthly subscription box that revolves around herbs and herbalism. It's a perfect study companion for an aspiring herbalist or anyone who desires a deeper relationship with plants. Each delivery includes new herbs, recipes, and medicine-making projects, as well as study guides, collectible art prints, seeds, and other bonus goodies for your garden and apothecary. Now this is $39.99 a month, and if you order more than 1 month at a time, you do get a discount on the boxes, and I will leave the link below on how to subscribe to the box. So when we open up the box, you've got your little booklet on the top and then all of your stuff down in the bottom. Like I said, it's not so much what's in the box that's exciting, but we are going to talk about the different plants, and I think I will post this as a video separately and then do the projects afterwards, just so we can talk about the herbs and their properties in depth. And then on the project video, I'll just do a little recap and then tell them they can come back to this video for a fuller description of the herb and its properties. So it looks like this month we're doing herbs for Musculoskeletal Magic. And in the little booklet, they have what's inside the box, and then Introduction to Musculoskeletal Magic, and it's going to talk about the muscular system and the skeletal system together. And in herbalism, we tend to treat those more together. Then it has herbal actions for the musculoskeletal system, and we'll talk about that as we go over the herbs. But remember, knowing the herbal actions gives you a really quick guide to what that herb does for you and whether or not it's an herb that you should consider for your health. So, and then it has the monographs for Comfrey, and it says a note about Comfrey's toxicity, which I'll cover, and then Plantain monograph, and then it has the recipes, and they have recipes for infused oils, and both the sun method and the stovetop method. Then herbal salve recipe, and I think I'm going to be making a salve this time, so that'll be something new to put on the channel. I made them a lot before, and oh my gosh, they have helped me so much. And then it has a section on poultices and liniments, and a liniment's a topical application that's usually extracted in witch hazel or rubbing alcohol and sprayed directly onto the areas. And I made a yarrow spray that I used witch hazel in that helped my heat rashes so much. Yarrow's really good for skin inflammation. And then there's all kinds of bonus recipes like herbal icy hot salve, formula for muscle cramps, sprain and strain massage oil, warming herbal liniment, arthritis support tincture formula, green goddess skin cream. And then they have a musculoskeletal cheat sheet where you can look for, say, sprains, osteoarthritis, sciatica, and gout, and gives you some different herbs and things that you could think about using for those. So I'm not sure which recipe I'm going to make. If you have an idea on which one you'd like to see me make, go ahead and leave in the comments below. But I think I am going to make a salve. Just not sure which one yet, or what I'm going to do for sure. But let's look and see what we have in the box. First, we have our loose leaf tea, and remember they always give us a tea each month, and the teas have been absolutely wonderful. And remember, even if it's like a pregnancy tea, just because you're not pregnant, the herbs in there have other wonderful medicinal values, so it's still good for everyone, even if they're not pregnant. So even a man could have drank that tea and gotten all kinds of nourishment and good herbal value from it. This one's called Replenish, and it says organic spearmint. I love spearmint-based teas. Nettle, oat straw, red clover, and red raspberry leaf. And usually with these are like the perfect size. I end up making them in a really big infused kind of a pitcher that I have with a strainer in it, and I put the tea in it and then pour the hot water over it and make a really nice big batch, especially now during the summer, because then you can put it in the fridge and have cold herbal tea, which is yummy. We always get a couple of stickers in here for our projects so that we can label the bottles. And we got 2 menstruum jars, and these are for if you're making an infusion in oil or anything like that. You put the herb in here, then you put the alcohol or the oil or whatever you're using for the menstruum, and usually you'll leave it in these jars for a full moon cycle or about a month, and then you'll strain it out and have your product. Then they did give us a ointment tin to make ointment with. And then we have our big strainer bag here. And remember, these can be reused. So you can take them, turn them inside out, wash them really good, and reuse them. So don't throw them away. And remember, I use these for my baths too. I put my salts and my herbs and crystals and everything in here, and then tie it up, and that way your bathtub doesn't get all messy. And then they gave us some wax. And I chose beeswax. They do have soy wax for people who do not want to use animal products, but I really prefer having the beeswax. It smells so good. I love beeswax. Then we have another little, they usually give us like 2 little gifts, and this says Blue Poppy Bath and Body. Oh, sore muscle rub with arnica and menthol. Oh, that's nice. So it's not just the regular lip salve. And I've been using some of my ointments that I made for muscles and stuff. One I made really good. It's made with cayenne pepper for the capsicum. And that really, that's nice. Really nice, fairly mild, but really nice. But the capsicum in it is really good for inflammation and that kind of thing for your muscles. The only downside is if you do use cayenne pepper, which I use the cayenne pepper powder, it does give it that orange tint. So I have to make sure and wear a shirt that's not like white where the orange is going to get in. You can wash it out, but it is works wonders though on muscles. So, all right, let's get into, well, first we have our seeds. So we have 5 comfrey seeds, and they always try and send us some seeds because there's something extra special about growing your own herbs before you actually make your products with. There's just, all that energy and time you put into cultivating the plant and loving the plant, and then to cultivate it, hopefully not the whole plant, so that we can keep the plant growing and continue to get medicinal values from it. So let's open up our little prints here. You always get 2 prints. And with the 3 herbs, you get 2 monographs, so you can know those right away. And then they leave the 3rd one because they want to encourage you to write your own monograph. And I typically don't write my own. I typically just go and find someone else's. And I believe in this video, I'm going to use this book for the one that we don't have. This is a new book that I just received, Herbal Remedies, and it's really an amazing book. So I'm going to utilize this book for the chickweed when I give you the information on chickweed, and I wanted to make sure and give them credit. When I use other websites, I usually link the website that I use so that I'm not reading off their information and not giving them credit for it. So I am terrible with the Latin names, but I do want to start to tell you them. So
Plantago lanceolata.
Plantago lanceolata, which is plantain. Now, let me show you the plantain. Here's the bag of plantain that we got. Come on. There we go. And it is quite full. It's full to about right there. And here's what the plantain looks like. Spill it all over. Try and get the light so you can see it a little bit. And when I do the video making things, I'll show you, pictures more of it. Let's talk a little bit about plantain and its benefits. So for the plantain starter monograph, we note that the Latin name is Plantago SSP. The common names include plantain, white man's footprint, waybread, Englishman's foot, fleawort, and ribwort. The parts that are used medicinally are the leaves and the seeds. The herbal actions include antimicrobial, antibacterial, lymphatic, anti-inflammatory, astringent, anti-allergic, antihistamine, anti-catarrhal, I always say that wrong, bitter, expectorant, demucilant, alternative, antihemorrhagic, vasoconstrictor, antacid, diuretic, emollient, vulnerary, and a tissue tonic. The preparations that are used are, is it a tea, a tincture, a poultice, an oil, powder, and the seeds can be used as a laxative. The medicinal uses. Plantain leaves have been used as a wound healing remedy for centuries in almost all parts of the world and in the treatment of a number of diseases apart from wound healing. These include diseases related to the skin, respiratory organs, digestive organs, reproduction, the circulation, against cancer, for pain relief, and against infections. Externally, Plantago is anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, antipruritic, and vulnerary. The maceated leaves or fresh juice of the plant are excellent quick healing agents for cuts, wounds, bruises, and earaches or ear infections. This nutrient-dense plant has a drawing action, meaning it will help draw toxicity from the body. Teach children to identify this herb and they'll become instant herbalists. A poultice of chewed up plantain can help draw out bee stings, blisters, and pimples, and soothe a variety of other boo-boos. Soak a splintered finger in a mug of plantain tea, and you'll be amazed at how quickly it can bring the offending shard to the skin's surface. Contraindications, there are none reported. History and folklore. Plantain grows native across wild swaths of Europe and Asia, and has an ancient tradition of medicinal use in these regions. In feudal Russia, when travel was a rare and dangerous endeavor, serfs regarded this readily available food and medicine as God's gift to travelers. While journeying, they sowed plantain seeds and recited prayers in order to bring good luck. Indigenous use. When European settlers brought the plant to the Americas, indigenous people supposedly nicknamed it white man's footprint. Since becoming naturalized in North America, it's been reportedly used by many tribes to treat a number of medicinal needs such as snake bites, gastric upset, and respiratory ailments. The magical uses, it's said to be used in spells related to strength, healing, and protection, and as a charm against snake bites. It can also be used in any working to enhance the effect of other herbs. And the next picture we have, let's see the pronunciation again.
Symphytum officinale,
Symphytum officinale. And that is our comfrey. And here is the comfrey bag. And again, it's all the way almost full. It does say on it, for external use only. And we'll talk a little bit about why it has that warning on it. And here's our comfrey. The Comfrey Starter Monograph, the Latin name Symphytum officinale. Common names are comfrey, blackwort, gum plant, bruisewort, nipbone, slippery root, wallwort, and woundwort. The parts that are used medicinally are the root, for external only, and leaves. Herbal actions: anti-hemorrhagic, anti-inflammatory, astringent, expectorant, anti-rheumatic, cell proliferant, vulnerary, demucillant, homostatic, cell proliferant, the root, wound tissue healer, and bone healer. The preparation types that are used are a poultice, oil, paste, tea, tincture, or a decoction. Medicinal uses. For our purposes, we will be talking about comfrey's external use only, as the ingredient is currently banned by the FDA for internal consumption. Comfrey ointments have been used to heal bruises as well as pulled muscles and ligaments, fractures, sprains, strains, and osteoarthritis. It has also been popularly used for cuts, grazes, and lesions, though this is now discouraged, as well as to heal large wounds, bone fractures, torn cartilage, tendons, and ligaments. The mucilage contains a remarkable allantoin. This substance is well known to promote constructive activity of different types of connective tissue, such as the cartilage and bone, as well as flesh and skin. Allantoin also helps produce natural cells. It promotes keratin dispersal and has been used topically on psoriasis. Allantoin is highly diffusible, and its presence means scarring is less likely. The recent discovery of this medicinal plant containing pyrrolizidine alkaloids has added warning to its use. The agents can be harmful to the liver. Therefore, the plant has been banned in some countries and considered dangerous in most of the rest. However, the good news is some strains and parts of the plant do not contain the culprit and are still considered generally safe for external use, as well as internal use with moderation. Caution, however, must be taken not to use comfrey on any open wound where there is even the slightest trace of infection. Comfrey assists the skin in healing quickly, and closing over an existing infection could lead to a larger systemic infection. Contraindications. It's contraindicated for edema, malabsorption, obesity, high AMA. Use comfrey no more than 6 weeks. The root contains more of the pyrrolizidine alkaloids that are toxic than leaves do. Internal use is contraindicated, especially in liver disease, pregnancy and lactation, or in infants. History and folklore. The name comfrey is derived from Latin conferva, with fervor or with strength. Indigenous use. There has been documented use of comfrey by the Cherokee tribe treating digestive and gastrointestinal elements. The Cherokee also used it as a venereal, gynecological, and orthopedic aid. Substitutions. Calendula and chamomile can often be substituted for comfrey in both topical and internal formulas. And some people who are worried about the toxicity of this may choose to use those substitutes. Magical uses. Comfrey is used in protective magic for the traveler and to protect against theft. Try placing a comfrey leaf in your luggage to make sure it doesn't get lost or stolen. Use comfrey root in sachets for protection while traveling and to keep your lover faithful while you are gone. Use it in sachets to protect vehicles. You can hang it from your rear view mirror or hide it under your seat. Just a note about comfrey's toxicity. You will notice that comfrey was sent this month has been labeled for external use only. This is because the ingredient is currently banned by the FDA for internal consumption while they are investigating its potential liver-damaging effects. In our personal experience, our teachers and some of our favorite herbal thought leaders have worked with comfrey internally in clinical settings without adverse effect. However, we always want to err on the side of caution and be compliant with all FDA regulations. So please do your research if you're going to use comfrey. And then we have our chickweed, and the pronunciation for it.
Stellaria.
Stellaria. Stellaria media. Stellaria media. And here is our chickweed, and I do have chickweed growing on my property. You can often find it all around, just growing in your lawn or on a walk. Just make sure that if you do decide to cultivate it and use it, that you make sure that you're not in an area like that you don't put pesticides on your lawn or anything like that that would affect you harvesting. Like, don't harvest along any of the highways or anything like that. Make sure that you're at least, I usually try and go at least 12 feet off any roads or anything if I'm going to be collecting any herbs. Now remember that they only give you the monographs for 2 of the herbs that are sent. So the information that's coming from for the chickweed is from the Wild Remedies book, How to Forge Healing Foods and Craft Your Own Herbal Medicine by Rosalie de la Forêt and Emily Hahn, and that will be linked in the video description. So chickweed, the botanical name is Stellaria media. The parts used are the aerial portions, the leaves, stems, and the flowers. The properties, it's an alternative demucillant, diuretic, expectorant, fibrifuge, inflammatory modulator, lymphagogue, nutritive, and vulnerary. Its uses are for dry coughs, food, infections, inflammation, nutrient deficiencies, rashes, swollen lymph glands, or stagnant lymph. The preparations can be a cream, food, oil, a salve, a succose or a juice, a tincture, or a vinegar. I did look up magical uses. This is not in that book. Magical uses, chickweed is used to help maintain and strengthen relationships, to encourage fidelity, and to attract love. Now back to the book information. The medicinal properties and energetics. Chickweed is a cooling and moistening herb for hot situations. It can soothe irritated eyes, dry coughs, and inflamed lymph system and skin conditions that are red, irritated, and itchy. Chickweed is high in sponins, soap-like constituents that act like an antimicrobial within the plant. In humans, sponins have a range of beneficial functions, including regulating blood sugar, supporting a healthy microbiome, and modulating inflammation. With quelling coughs, at times coughs come from irritation and dryness. In this latter case, chickweed excels at restoring moisture and decreasing irritation in the lungs. It can also gently support the fresh expectoration of mucus to help move stuck mucus out of the lungs. Soothes the eyes. The moistening and cooling qualities of chickweed offer soothing relief to eyes that are irritated, red, or dry, or have minor infections such as a stye or pink eye. For best results, apply the chickweed right to the problem area. You can easily do this by mashing up the fresh plant and then placing that juicy pulp on your closed eye for 10 to 20 minutes. Heals skin conditions and infections. Herbalists often reach for chickweed to address hot, inflamed, and itchy skin conditions such as eczema, blisters, scrapes, boils, diaper rash, and insect stings or bites. It can be used as a fresh poultice or an infused oil or salve. Chickweed can support skin health when taken internally as a fresh green or as a vinegar or alcohol extract. Herbalists have long used chickweed to address infections. In vitro studies have isolated various constituents in chickweed that show antiviral activity against herpes simplex 2 and herpes B, and hepatitis B. With any of these studies, if you'd like me to quote them, just let me know in the comments and I will link the studies. So, what did you think this month? Musculoskeletal Magic. What do you want me to make out of the things that I read in the recipes below? Comment below and let me know. I'm going to get started probably in about the next 3 or 4 days. So chime in and let me know what you want to see me make. I really think I want to make one of the ointments though and show you how to make an ointment. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And at the very least, give this a thumbs up. Comment and let me know where you're from and what kinds of herbs do you like to cultivate in your area. Have an amazing day and come back often to the channel where you can say, "Karma's my friend." Bye, y'all.